So you're ready to sell albums as a photographer? Let me show you just how easy it can be from start to finish. I'm Vanessa Joy. I have been a professional photographer for over 25 years, and selling my clients, offering them, educating them all about print products is one of the main things that I do, because I know that printed product means that it will become a legacy and last longer than digital products ever will. So let's start with, how do you sell an album? If you want to start selling albums, what I have to encourage you at the very first is don't think about the end. Most photographers never end up selling albums because they're so worried about, okay, well, how do I order an album? What kind of covers have to go onto it? What do I even do? How do I design it? Hold your horses. First step that you are going to take is you're simply going to add it to your packages, add it to your price list, offer it to your clients. If you're photographing something like weddings, you could add it to a wedding package, but then you're not even going to have to fulfill that for sometimes over a year. So don't worry about that part. Just start offering it to your clients and educating them on why it's amazing. You will always have that leeway time. Even if you're doing something like portraits, you're still going to have, I don't know, a month from when you book the session till when you photograph it, and then probably another month for showing the photos and then getting them to buy an album till you have to actually design it. So just start offering it and see what happens. Learn as you go. You don't have to be a master. But first thing I want to show you is how to design an engagement album. The first step to selling a great album is designing a great album that tells a story. Let's take engagement albums as an example. You may have noticed I haven't gone over like cheesy sales tactics or anything hard that's going to be in your client's face. The truth is, I don't want that. There's no in-your-face sales tactics, and that's because I want the story to be the thing that sells the album. What we are doing as photographers is very story-based. It's emotion-driven. That's why we use things like slideshows, and that's why when we are selling an album, I find much more success in selling the story versus selling the pages. So by designing an album like this with the client giving input on a Zoom session after you've done the initial design, I think you will have more success. I know I've had more success designing and selling bigger albums by basing the entire thing on the story and the images themselves. Now, engagement albums can be one or two types of designs. You could have an engagement album that's just showing off the absolutely beautiful photos that you took. And for me personally, I like to do no more than a max of 4 photos per spread, per 2 pages. Sometimes I go more. And I love having a lot of breakup in the spreads, meaning sometimes I'll have 6 photos across 2 pages, or sometimes I'll have 1 photo across 2 pages. I'm always looking for a way to bounce the eyes, so every time they turn the page, they see something different. That's really important, not only for the viewer of the final product as they're physically flipping through the album, but as you're presenting the album design to your client, you want to give them a unique experience every time they turn the page. So every time they turn the page, it's different, it's new, it doesn't seem redundant because the same design is being used over and over again. Now, another way that you can design engagement albums is design more of a guest book style. And of course, a guest book does not have to just be for weddings. It could be for sweet 16s or quinceañeras, things like that, where the book is brought to the event and it's designed in a way where it leaves space for people who are at the event to sign their names and say something sweet. So to design that is just designing more of a guest book style that leaves empty negative space on the pages for people to write on. None of this, by the way, is difficult at all. All you're gonna do is pop open Fundy. Now with Fundy, you can have presets where you automatically design all of this with really one click. But when it comes to the engagement, really guest book design, all you're gonna do is select guest book. in addition to the wall art and anything else that we can create. But let's just start with the guest book. When you design your guest book, you can give it some limitations, some parameters, how many pages, how many images, where you want it to pull the images from. Really easy, plop it all in, and then of course make whatever adjustments you want. Now, if you're designing an engagement book or a guest book, I still recommend that process of breaking it up. I would still have photos that go one photo across 2 pages, one whole spread there. I would still want to bounce the eyes and not have the same design over and over, or at least next to each other. So you still want to have that variety. The more variety you have, the better story it's going to tell, and the more pages you'll end up selling in the album, which ultimately makes you more money and makes for a better experience for those that are viewing it. Anytime that you look at a photo album, one of the goals is to make sure it doesn't look too cluttered. So don't put too many photos on there. Spread them out, let them breathe. Make sure you have some accent images in there where it's just one photo on a page, maybe on the opposite side of 4 photos on the next page. Lots of different options there, and of course Fundy is making it really easy to just click and done. I mean, click and done gets you there, and then you make any tweaks that you want to. If you haven't given Fundy a try yet, go ahead and download a free trial. You'll see just how easy it is to do that and get started designing your guest book or engagement album. Be sure to watch the next video where I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about the album design process, but for wedding albums, which are much bigger. I'll see you next time.